Now, Donald Trump has been on the phone with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelenskyy after speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the phone for over 90 minutes on Tuesday. The conversation with Zelenskyy was about 1 hour long, as Amritpal mentioned. Now, Russia and Ukraine have also exchanged 175 prisoners of war each, following the Trump-Putin phone call in which the swap was discussed. Russia also handed over an additional 22 heavily wounded Ukrainian prisoners, as confirmed by both the sides. But at the same time, despite the phone call where there was an agreement to stop strikes on each other's energy infrastructure, attacks have been carried out from both sides against each other, changing little on the ground.
Scenes of key infrastructure being targeted on both sides of the front line in Ukraine and Russia soon after a partial ceasefire to stop targeting energy infrastructure was agreed between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin during an over 90-minute phone call. Ukraine said Russia hit it with around 150 drones, which not only targeted its power plants but also transport and 2 hospitals packed with civilians in Sumy. The attacks prompted Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to remark that Putin's words are very much at odds with reality, while seeking a US monitoring of the ceasefire between Kiev and Moscow as he met his Finnish counterpart in Helsinki, seeking more arms for his country.
The main subject of this control, I believe, should be the United States of America. The next meeting of Saudi Arabia is meant for talks about a partial ceasefire, for example, regarding infrastructure, energy, etc. And shipping safety will also be discussed. That is, it will be a technical team.
Russia, on the other hand, claimed it suspended its attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure after the Trump-Putin phone call and even shot down its own Ukraine-bound drones. But it accused Kiev of striking its energy infrastructure overnight, targeting an oil depot in southern Russia.
Unfortunately, we see that so far there has been no reciprocity from the Kyiv regime. There have been attempts to strike at our energy infrastructure facilities. You know about this, and the information on this is also available. That is why we are closely monitoring whether the Kyiv regime listens to the firm intention of the President of the Russia and the United States to do everything possible step by step to move towards a peaceful resettlement.
Expectations were high from Tuesday's phone call that Putin will respond positively to the 30-day ceasefire proposal agreed between Ukraine and the US. Instead, Putin only agreed to a 30-day pause in attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, exchange of captive soldiers, and an ice hockey match between Russian and American players. The main condition being that the West stop providing arms and intel to Kiev. But Trump, in an interview to Fox News after the phone call, said the issue of Ukraine aid never came up, although the Kremlin insisted that it did.
We didn't talk about aid, actually. We didn't talk about aid at all. We talked about a lot of things, but aid was never discussed.
The dissonance over what was agreed between Trump and Putin during the phone call is therefore stark, and several European leaders at the outset minced no words about Putin giving no ground to his US counterpart.
It is actually nothing, because it says to listen attack on exactly the infrastructure in Ukraine that is best protected. So it's a zero number, if you like. And we have seen that the attack on civilian infrastructure did not let up in the first night after this supposedly groundbreaking great phone call. So Putin is playing a game, and I'm sure that the American president won't be able to stand by and watch for long.
It has become evident that the over 90 minutes that Trump spent speaking to Putin amounted to nothing on the ground. Reports even suggest that Putin kept Trump waiting for about an hour before coming on the line after wrapping up a meeting with Russian industrialists. What remains to be seen is, will Trump do anything about it? Gautam Roy's report, DD India.